The following presentation was made possible by the Alltech Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Alltech Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit alltechmedia.com.
Since 2014, our keynote speaker has worked with the Riverside Unified School District Board of Education to lead a district of over 42,000 students and more than 4,000 employees. The district has a track record of success. As the California Department of Education reported, RUSD's graduation rate recently rose to 89.4%. And that's up 2.5% from the previous year. Yes. And why am I not surprised? Riverside Unified School District also boasts 29 California Distinguished Schools, 4 National Blue Ribbon Schools, and 1 Golden Ribbon School that provide superior educational opportunities for Riverside students. If I might add, he treated all of the Riverside Unified School District coaches and administrators to a morning with Bill Walton, the great basketball player. He's an Eagle Scout and has 3 sons who are also Eagle Scouts, and he's absolutely an American leadership treasure. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Superintendent of Unified School District, Dr. David Hansen.
Wow, good morning. I need to say it's really nice to follow Stan. I think this is the first time I've come to a microphone and I haven't had to raise it or adjust it. But good morning, Riverside. I want to begin by expressing my appreciation and gratitude to Cindy Roth and the Chamber for allowing us to come here this morning and be part of the program. And especially I want to thank the Chamber because over the years they have been wonderful supporters for K-12 education. And they've advocated on our behalf at the state and even the national level on different policies that affect education. And so thank you very much to the members of the Chamber. I'd like to introduce at this time members of our school board that are here and publicly express my appreciation to them also for their support and dedication. And the one thing that impresses me the most about this school board is they know how to keep kids at the center of all of their discussions and all their decisions. Thank you very much. So as your name's read, if you'd please stand and remain standing so we can give you proper recognition. First is Dr. Angelo Farouk. Mrs. Kathy Alavey. Mrs. Patricia Locke Dawson. Mr. Brent Lee. And new, I think it's the first time in the history of the school district, it's new as just as Tuesday evening at the board meeting, we have a student board member, a student appointed representative, and that is Alex Herrera, senior at STEM Academy. And last but certainly not least, this year's board president, Mr. Tom Hunt. Thank you. I'd like to invite on stage with me, I'm not doing this solo, there's a team that I'd like to invite to come and join me on the stage, and that is from Riverside Unified School District, our Chief Business Officer, Mrs. Mays Kakish. We also have Mr. Tom Hunt, our board president, and the chair of this year's campaign, Measure O, Mrs. Ophelia Valdez-Yeager. This morning, we come before you to inform and to help educate regarding Measure O that will be on this November 8th ballot. Measure O is a local school facilities bond that will help address the physical needs of our school. Now, first, let me give you some history for perspective. In 1969, the school board at the time placed a facilities bond on the ballot for $18.5 million. The community had passed and approved that, and that money went towards building Arlington High School, Woodcrest Elementary School, and University Heights Middle School. And we're grateful for the community and their support in 1969. In 2001, the school board placed a second bond on the ballot for $175 million. And that money also went to revitalizing old schools and building new schools. And we're very grateful for the community in supporting and passing those two measures. Well, we're coming to you for a third time to the community with Measure O, as I mentioned, will be on the November ballot. Now, to keep something in perspective, there's a neighboring school district that I know very well, and they have passed or placed 3 different bonds on the ballot since 1996. They had a $200 million bond in 1996, a $300 million bond in 2007, and just north of $400 million bond in 2014. And this is the third time as a school district that we are coming towards the community since 1969. There has absolutely been fiscal responsibility that all the governing boards have shown. There's been a level of conservative, thoughtful, only come to the community when there really is a time of need. And this, as I mentioned, will be our third time since 1969. Our school board, this hasn't just happened in the last few months as a good idea, but they have spent the last 18 months really studying deeply the issues of the aging facilities here in Riverside. And among a few of the activities that they have done is we have evaluated with staff, the governing board, financial scenarios. They've taken a look at reviewing the different tax rates. They have conducted 2 different voter surveys. And we spent an entire year completing a comprehensive master facilities plan that touched every single facility that the school district owns and operates. So back in June, I believe it was June the 22nd, after 18 months of study, the school board unanimously took a vote to place Measure O on this November 8th election. And what I'd like to do at this, or November 8th ballot, what I'd like to do at this time is invite our Chief Academic Officer, or Chief Business Officer, Macy Kakish, forward to go a little bit deeper on 3 issues that the board studied. The first one is the different tax rates and the financial scenarios in the area. The second one, a little bit more detail for everyone on the master facilities plan, which Ms. Kakish oversaw. And the last thing, to share with you some results of the 2 different polls that the board, the voter polls that the board took over the last 18 months. Mrs. Kakish.
I'm not going to stand right here, just because they won't see me. And so the next slide, please. The financial scenarios that the board asked us to see is surrounding districts and where they're at when it comes to their taxes in their communities that they have passed over with local measures. And so as you see, Riverside Unified has been very conservative. Since 1969, there's only been 2 measures, and they're still under the $60 that is the maximum. And other districts have exceeded that with their measures. The next slide. So the board asked us to do a long-range facilities master plan. What did that take? That was a process over a year and a half that engaged architects, school district and school administrators, students, parents, community members, and district office staff. And they all met over 120 meetings throughout this time, and they came up with a recommendation of a report of a facilities master plan to the board that they approved just in the last spring. So that plan really had 3 different major components. One of them is the maintenance projects, and that is the HVAC replacements, the roofing, all of the maintenance that you need to do for facilities that are existing. And then the parity was the second component, and that is if you go down to our schools and you pass our schools in the streets, you see that they range from 100 years old to maybe 10 to 20 years old. And that is a huge difference between one school that was just built recently versus as an older school, as far as infrastructure, as far as multi-purpose room access, library and media access, and portables. You go down to some of our schools, and we have some of the schools that have more portables than the actual permanent building. And so that study also concentrated on that. The third area was evolution and vision, and our board wanted to make sure that we include in our facilities master plan the career technical education projects, the STEM projects, the STEAM and the arts, and the technology pathways, but also the technology projects that we need to accommodate that. So that was the third category. In the area of renovation alone was over $450 million. In portable replacement to permanent building, over $225 million. The total of the report is $1.5 billion of needs within Riverside Unified School facilities. And so that is not going to happen, the next 10 years. It's going to take about 10 to 20 years to even address all of the needs. So next is just the detail about our initial ballot. Again, the board did not do this without the homework of making sure that there is support within this community. So that actually yielded 72% between definitely yes and probably yes. And that is now our chance to make sure that our community is more educated on the needs through our website, and we can see that support in the community.
Good morning, Riverside neighbors. If Measure O passes, what would happen? Well, we would improve student safety and security systems, of course a priority for us at all campuses. Repair and replace aging and outdated classrooms, and let me say, and school buildings, and inadequate classrooms and school buildings. Let me just give you a picture of that. Poly High School, the new Poly High School, was built in 1965. It was built to accommodate 1,600 students. Monday's enrollment was 2,805. We have a high school at a high school. And North was built a year later, John W. North, 1966. Again, built to accommodate 1,600 students. They have 2,273 as of Monday. Our family has grown. Our community family of students have grown. We got to get them out of the garage into their own bedrooms, is the idea. And, all of our high schools, except for King, were built before Title IX was passed. Title IX allowed young ladies to compete in CIF competition and go on and get scholarships. Many of you have supported that. That, right now, we don't have the gym space or even the locker room space. We're compromised there. I'll be sure to get that across. We're compromised in the locker rooms. We're not yet co-ed, so that's you'll help handle that. Next slide, please. Retrofit older schools to ensure they're earthquake safe. That's up to current California standards. Update classrooms and labs for career and technology classes, including health science, engineering, and skilled trades. We really want to get that point across. If passed, Measure O would update instructional materials adequacy. The Dewey Decimal System is no longer a part of our district. But every child, and in fact, RUSD, as you may know, is a leader in the western states in devices to student ratio. And the Gates Foundation has seen that, and they've contributed to us. Children show up in the morning with this and ready to go, but a lot of our buildings, unlike your office buildings, don't have the data points that we need, don't have the Wi-Fi on the campuses. This is the modern campus that needs to happen, and we will be able to bring that to fruition. Our tech center, our IT center, most of it is in 2 trailers behind Sarah Middle School. That's got to change. We're a $500 million a year corporation, 42,000 students. We've got to bring up to standard. But speaking of standards, accountability, which is very important to all of us in our businesses. Let me go over a few things, and they're up there, but they were saying. No funds from the bond goes for administrators or teachers or school board members' salaries and benefits. There'll be a citizens oversight committee. That's you. We'll be asking you, leading business and community leaders. Oh, there we go. Do we need to start over? No. And annual independent audits are required. I think if you look at our last Measure B committee, every project we had, and I should mention, by the way, Measure B, there's been some great administrators that have overseen that, and every project came in on time and on or under budget. And I should mention my retired colleague, Dr. Chuck Beatty, back there, oversaw the beginning of that. So we've had good stewardship, and we'll continue to do that. Every school, I should say, no funds can be taken away by Jerry Brown. This is Riverside dollars. They don't work outside of our district. every school would benefit. All 48 schools will benefit from the bond. So, strict financial accountability. It's based on the assessed value of your home. Now, the average home in Riverside is assessed at $225,000. At $59 per 100,000, that's about $133 a year, or you're going to miss a couple venties a month. For my house, I'm going to be paying about $330 a year. If I can stay away from the Del Taco buck or less menu, I think I'm going to be able to serve the students of this community. And we have a great future on this. Let me introduce to you the person that's leading this campaign. And first I want to dispel a rumor. The O does not stand for Ophelia. It's just a natural draw. All right? I did have influence making sure there was UC colors. I wanted the sign to say, "Oh, yes," but Ophelia overruled me. Ophelia Valdez-Yeager.
Thank you, Tom. Measure O is absolutely an important initiative, and that's why I'm on board. This is not a campaign to ensure the success of a candidate. This is a campaign to ensure the success of 42,000 plus RUSD students that are currently being educated, and for the future of our students at RUSD. I have had 4 children successfully go through Riverside Unified Schools, and now we have a grandson that's beginning kindergarten. Colette is my other co-grandmother, and so we're very proud of that, and that is why I have a vested interest to make sure that this bond measure passes. Joining me in this terrific campaign are some people that you may be familiar with. We have people like Sue Johnson, Paul Gill, Gordon Bournes, Paulette Brown Hines, Gina Cheadle, Susie Lavis, Cheryl Tavaloni, Brian Hawley, among others. And if any members of the committee are here, please stand up so we can acknowledge you for your great work. Thank you very much. This morning I'm asking for your help. I can say things that district people can't do because they're educating you, and I am asking you to please endorse Measure O. I'm asking you to volunteer with the campaign. We will be phone banking and precinct walking, but you don't have to persuade voters to vote yes. We're simply confirming the support voters and reminding them to cast their ballot. As you know, we're going to have a long ballot. So I would suggest to you that you start at the bottom, which is where we will be, take a deep breath, and then go up. We ask you to donate to the campaign. We will be sending critical communications to spread our message to all likely voters, and it all needs to be privately funded, and every dollar counts. So to endorse, or for more information, please go to our website, www.yesonmeasuro.org. And finally, we're having a campaign kickoff on September 26th at the Loft, the former California Ballet, where they were housed, and we ask you to please come and join us and show your support. Thank you all very much.
There's an understanding in this community that high-quality schools translate into high-quality community, and overall improving our social and economic promise, especially for our children as it relates to their student learning and well-being. Our USD staff will stay around to answer questions at the end of this morning. Thank you and have a great day.